Why did Jungkook and Jin return quietly to Korea? Fans question irregularities after Jimin and Taehyung's shocking moment. The sudden step of Jungkook and Jin quietly returning to Korea has raised big questions among fans. How could those two BTS members choose to return only by themselves, while the others were still seen enjoying time together abroad? Is this decision related to the moment that a day earlier shocked the public, when Jimin and Taehyung were caught on camera showing intimacy while swimming in the sea? That question now dominates fan discussions, sparking increasingly wild speculation. Fans initially only considered their departure as an ordinary trip, but the movement pattern that seemed concealed raised suspicion. There was no official notice, no upload from the agency, even the staff who usually accompanied them were not seen. Jungkook and Jin truly appeared at the airport with quick steps, as if trying to avoid media spotlight. This added a dramatic as well as mysterious impression, making the public wonder, what is actually happening? The issue that Jungkook felt jealous seeing Jimin and Taehyung's closeness further strengthened the circulating narrative. A short video widely circulating on social media showed the moment Jimin and Taehyung laughed while hugging each other when swimming. In fact, several video cuts showed interactions interpreted by fans as a brief kiss. Although still debated whether that was true or merely a misperception of the camera, its emotional impact had already left a mark. Jungkook, who is known as sensitive and expressive in showing feelings to fellow group members, was said to feel uncomfortable with that situation. What heated the atmosphere even more was the silence from the official side. Big Hit Music did not issue any clarification, letting speculation develop without control. Fans on forums and online platforms began to build theories, mentioning the possibility that Jungkook chose to distance himself to dampen his emotional turmoil. The presence of Jin at his side added a new dimension to this story. Many considered Jin to act as a mediator as well as a figure who tried to calm Jungkook in the midst of a heated situation. However, speculation did not stop there. Some also suspected their return was related to personal agenda or secret schedules that did not want to be announced to the public. But still, the timing arrangement that coincided with Jimin and Taehyung's intimate moment made the Jungkook sulking narrative more attractive to many people. Social media was filled with comments such as, "Why did they return right after that?" Or if indeed there was urgent business, why must they leave only the two without other members? Questions like these illustrate how great the public's curiosity is. Psychologically, dynamics in a large group are indeed vulnerable to raising feelings of jealousy or discomfort, especially when inter-member relations look so close in public. Jungkook, as a member who often expresses his affection to other members, might have felt cornered with that moment. The presence of Jin as the eldest figure gave the impression that there was an effort to maintain emotional stability and avoid greater conflict in the eyes of the public. Meanwhile, the presence of other members who were still seen active abroad created a striking contrast. Jimin and Taehyung still enjoyed relaxing activities together, while RM, J-Hope, and Suga had not shown signs of returning. This situation further affirmed the existence of a dividing line that had never been seen before. Fans considered this difference of steps not a coincidence, but a decision that had certain reasons that had not yet been revealed. Amidst this uncertainty, many demanded transparency. Fans felt it was reasonable to question the reason behind Jungkook and Jin's return, especially considering the great public attention to every BTS movement. But on the other hand, some reminded that the members are also human beings who have the right to privacy. Not everything has to be explained to the public, especially if related to private matters and sensitive feelings. Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this moment had sparked a huge wave of speculation. The decision to quietly return to Korea, the departure time that coincided with Jimin and Taehyung's intimate moment, and the silence from the agency are the perfect combination that made rumors increasingly difficult to contain. Fans could only speculate, while definite answers still remain a mystery that has not been solved. Is it true that Jungkook felt jealous and chose to distance himself? Or are there other more complex reasons behind that step? Until there is an official statement, all those questions will remain hanging in the public's mind. Clearly, Jungkook and Jin's sudden return has opened a new chapter in BTS's internal dynamics that have never been free from world attention. The decision to quietly return taken by Jungkook and Jin shortly after the public was shocked by Jimin and Taehyung's closeness while swimming in the sea, forces sharp questions. Is this reality as it is, or a sensational narrative born from video fragments, provocative headlines, and confirmation bias working silently? First, regarding evidence. The recording showed laughter, hugs, and gestures interpreted as a kiss, but did the camera angle, water ripples, and compression not create illusions? Have all frames been examined, reflections and shadows checked, and the context of place and time verified before emotional conclusions were taken? If not, is it proper to judge intent and feelings only from visual fragments without supporting data? Second, consider incentives. Who benefits from the explosion of attention on the issue? Jungkook jealous? Content creators chasing views, aggregators gaining followers, or parties who know conflicts sell better than clarifications? If platform architecture encourages dramatization, why do we not restrain ourselves, delay judgment, and demand stronger verification? Third, scrutinize chronology. Did the return of the two occur immediately after the sea moment, or was there a substantial gap missing from the timeline? Did that gap contain personal agenda, health recovery, or professional obligations? And if there was a gap, is it appropriate to conclude cause and effect only from closeness of time? Without precise timelines, is it not easy for correlation to be turned into false causation? Fourth, interpret the silence of the official side. Does the absence of statements mean confirmation of rumors, or institutional caution waiting for consolidated data? Does the culture of instant answers not equate no clarification yet with surely true? And are we ready to accept that do not know is a valid position until adequate evidence is available? Fifth, test technical aspects. How do metadata, re-upload chains, audiovisual synchronization, as well as potential manipulation based on artificial intelligence affect perception? Has basic verification such as tracing the first source, matching locations, and comparing weather and shadows been conducted? And if not, is it proper for public emotions to be directed by digital material that may be flawed and partial? Sixth, do not forget interpretation ethics. Is it fair to label sulking only because of quick steps at the airport, flat expression on camera, or unsynchronized schedules? Does such emotional reduction not turn humans into characters in a script of sensation? And do we not owe empathy and caution so that perceptions formed do not harden into stigma? Seventh, uphold journalistic standards. Are there verified witnesses, consistent time and location, track record of corrections if wrong, and priority of accuracy over reach? If these requirements have not been fulfilled, should the label temporary not be attached to reporting? And is the willingness to correct not a sign of integrity, rather than weakness? Eighth, interrogate oneself as audience. Does emotional attachment as fans make us more easily accept stories aligned with hopes or fears? Do platform algorithms create echo chambers that strengthen beliefs without cross-check? And are we willing to read different sources, check inconvenient data, and admit possible misinterpretation even if it shakes the comfort of fandom identity? Test alternatives equally. What if the return of the two was purely internal matters? What if the sea moment was merely a play of the camera? What if the silence of the official side was only standard policy? And what if this uproar more reflects how we consume information rather than the members' reality? If reasonable, should the portion of discussion not be balanced, not heavy on the most dramatic assumption? The status of information needs to be firm. The materials we refer to come from the stream of content on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and several other dynamic media. The truth still awaits verification. Every claim should be treated as a hypothesis ready to be tested and refuted. Is it not wise to suspend judgment, demand primary data, and reject the viral rhythm that rewards the fast, not the accurate? Critical reflection is now mandatory. Do you believe this event is real like the video frames, or consider it a fabrication exploiting the attention economy and psychology of surprise? Are you ready to reassess beliefs if new evidence appears? And are you willing to move from spontaneous believing to believing with reasons that can be accounted for? To deepen the discussion, compile a list of working questions. Who is the first source? When was the recording made? Where is the location? How is the re-upload chain? Why were certain cuts chosen? And to whom does the benefit of attention flow? Is there data that refutes the main claim? And is there a correction mechanism if wrong? Without this discipline, Are we not merely multiplying convincing but fragile prejudice?